What if I told you that we already know the name of the next Pokemon games? The region, maybe the starters, the legendaries, the brand new battle gimmick, and that you can supposedly fight the final boss the moment you leave the first island. Because thanks to the biggest leak in Pokemon history, we know all of that and a lot more. Pokemon Day is February 27th. The official reveal is almost certainly happening this week, but the Terra League already pulled back the curtain on Generation 10 months ago, and what's been hiding behind it is the most ambitious Pokemon game ever attempted. These are 17 leaked secrets that you do not know about Pokemon Generation 10 ahead of the Pokemon Day reveal. Don't forget, I'll be live streaming the event right here on the channel, so make sure you guys subscribe and like this video if you enjoy. The aDrive army is the place to be for Generation 10, so strap in. Before we dive in, I do want to put out the disclaimer that things are subject to change. While this information did come from a massive leak, this was from about a year or two ago, so it's possible development pivoted and things may be different, but a lot of this information we believe to be rock solid. Let's start with the name. According to the Terra League, Generation 10 will be called Pokemon Wind and Pokemon Wave. Some sources pluralize it as winds and waves. We're not 100% sure which is final, but core naming convention has been corroborated by multiple leakers, including Riddler Coup. The internal codename at Game Freak is Project Gaia, which makes sense given the nature-focused themes. And the overarching concept for this generation? One word: infinity. Wind, wave, infinity. We're already cooking. The games are directed by Shigeru Omori, the same director behind Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, and Scarlet and Violet. Love him or not, this is his vision for what Pokemon looks like on the next generation hardware, which is a really big deal coming to the Switch 2. The region is based on Southeast Asia. This is the one that surprised everyone. Early leaks suggested Gen 10 would be based on Greece, and Game Freak actually did consider Greece alongside Canada, Scandinavia, and the US West Coast, but they ultimately settled on Southeast Asia, specifically Indonesia, Malaysia, and merged Singapore-style peninsula. There's also some bits of Australia, which is pretty interesting. The leaked beta map is an archipelago, a massive chain of islands that fans have directly compared to the real-world geography of Indonesia. The islands of Borneo, Java, and the Malay Peninsula have basically been rearranged, but are immediately recognizable. And here's the wild part. According to leaks, the region is split by something inspired by the Wallace Line, which is a real biological boundary in Indonesia where the animal species on either side are completely different. If Game Freak uses this to create version-exclusive Pokemon distributions based on real biogeography, that is elite world building. This would also be the first time Pokemon has ever been set in Asia outside of Japan. Every previous region was either Japan-inspired or based on Western countries. This is new territory we're talking about here. The map is reportedly 8 times bigger than Paldea. If you thought Paldea was big, buckle up. According to leaked analysis, the Gen 10 region is approximately 8 times the size of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's map. Some estimates suggest that the individual major island could be roughly the same size as all of Paldea. The total island count is reportedly around 30 major islands, with up to 54 total when you include the smaller landmasses. We're talking deserts, jungles, volcanoes, coral reefs, deep sea trenches, every biome you can imagine spread across a massive open world archipelago. Now, some features have been scaled back from the original pitch, which I'll get to later, but even with cutbacks, this is shaping up to be the biggest Pokemon region ever created by far. It seems as though you'll start in a tourist city and not a small town. Every Pokemon game starts the same way, right? Small town, quiet house, mom sends you off, but not this time. According to the leaks, Gen 10's protagonist is a 13-year-old kid whose mother wins a lottery vacation to the region. That's gonna get everyone gambling. You arrive in a massive tourist city and check into a Pokemon resort hotel that serves as the game's main hub. The hotel is described as having MMO-like features where you can see other real players walking around, similar to the Union Rune concept, but way more modern and integrated. It's your home base, your social space, and your jumping off point for island exploration. And the professor? Not your typical lab coat scientist. The Gen 10 professor is reportedly a survivalist who studies the region's weather patterns. Think less Professor Oak, more Bear Grylls with a Pokedex, and a lot of people are speculating that Charles Darwin may have some play on this one. We'll keep an eye out there. Now, this leak I find quite interesting, but apparently you're gonna catch your starter in a traffic jam. This one might be a little bit of a stretch, but it's one of my favorite leaks so far. Apparently you're not gonna receive your starter from the professor, you're actually gonna catch it. According to this leak, right after arriving in the big city, the streets are completely jammed because Pokemon have escaped and are blocking traffic. An NPC asks you to help catch them to clear the road. The 3 starter Pokemon are right there in Chaos, and you pick which one to catch. It's kind of giving some Legends Arceus energy where the starters escaped and you had to wrangle them, but with a completely fresh urban twist. As for what the starters actually are, there's been a bunch of different rumors. A grass-type lemur, a cute fire-type goat, there's been talks of platypus, fruit bats, and all sorts of unique creatures. The community is buzzing about all of these different starter choices, and this will most certainly be the biggest reveal from Generation 10 Pokemon Day. Every generation's legendaries define the vibe, and Gen 10's pair is not what anyone expected. Internal documents and multiple leakers describe the box legendaries as Wind Grandpa for Pokemon Wind and Wave Grandma for Pokemon Wave. These are elder, deity-like Pokemon tied to the forces of nature. They reportedly live on a special isolated island far from human civilization. And here's the real twist. You can't just sail there and catch them. According to the leaks, you'll have to have raised your seed Pokemon, a special companion we'll talk about in a second, to a certain level before the legendaries will even allow you to approach them. Elderly deity Pokemon that judge your worthiness, that's pretty good thematic energy. Now let's talk about the seed Pokemon, one of the most unique companions in any Pokemon game. One of the craziest leaks is the concept of the seed Pokemon, a special companion Pokemon with a twist. In its base form, it's described as a flower-like creature that looks the same for everyone. But when it evolves, it takes on procedurally generated details, meaning its patterns, colors, or designs could theoretically be unique to your game. Think Spinda's spot patterns or Vivion's wing designs, but taken to a new extreme where every player's evolved seed Pokemon could look different. The patterns reportedly change based on flowers and geometric mandalas, and this Pokemon is key to the story. You actually need it to face the box legendaries. Now, the major caveat here is later leaks from Centro suggest that the procedural generation features were scaled back or cut from the current build. It's unclear whether the seed Pokemon's unique evolution survived those cuts, but even as a concept, it's one of the most creative and ambitious ideas Pokemon has ever had. Now let's talk about the new battle gimmick, Majin. Every generation gets a battle gimmick. Mega Evolution, Z-moves, Dynamax, Terrassalization. Gen 10 is codenamed Majin, and it's tied to weather. Majin literally translates from Japanese as demon being or divine being. According to the leaks, this mechanic involves weather-based moves called Tenko Waza that build up through a Majin energy gauge during combat. The leaked animation shows a Pikachu getting physically distorted, its body parts changing shape as a cloud-like vortex swirls around it. It's eerie, it's powerful looking, and it's unlike anything we've ever seen. Early documents describe the mechanic as Pokemon being able to transform the battlefield itself, using natural phenomenon. Gale force winds, tidal surges, volcanic ash clouds to boost their own stats while hurting the opponent. It's like weather on steroids, where the environment becomes your weapon. Some leaks also mention that certain Pokemon will receive new forms through the Majin Blessing, similar to how Mega Evolution gave Pokemon various power-up designs like Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, and many more, and those are reportedly among the first to get these new Majin forms. Now forget the standard 8 gym formula. Gen 10 reportedly features 18 total challenges, one for every single Pokemon type. These are described as a mix of traditional gyms and Titan-style boss encounters, similar to Scarlet and Violet's 3-path structure, but a little bit more expansive. Leaked gym types include Grass, Poison, Flying, Fighting, Dark, Normal, Steel, and Fairy, and that's the traditional 8. The remaining 10 types reportedly take the form of bosses and Majin encounters that cover every other type. And completing all 18 is required for the true ending, but here's where it gets crazy. According to the leaks, once you unlock open water exploration, which happens relatively early, you can theoretically sail straight to the final boss and fight them. If you win, you get an ending. Credits roll. But it's not the real ending. You need to complete all 18 challenges for the full story and true conclusion. Think of it like Breath of the Wild, where you could go fight Ganon immediately, but you'd be wildly unprepared and missing the real experience. This is a massive shift for Pokemon. True non-linear progression where the game trusts you to choose your own path. If this is real, it's one of the most player-respecting design choices the series has ever made. Rotom Bike is out, Rotom Scooter is in. According to the leaked images and descriptions, players will traverse the region on a Rotom-powered scooter. But here's what makes it special. You can leash Pokemon to the scooter using an energy tether, and the scooter absorbs their traversal abilities. Attach a flying Pokemon, the scooter flies and glides. Water type, and it becomes a jet ski. Diving Pokemon, you're going underwater. It's modular transportation that changes based on your team. Originally, the leak said all large Pokemon would be directly rideable with scaling that adjusted your character's size to the mount, but that was reportedly too ambitious and got scaled back to this Rotom Scooter system instead. It's still pretty cool, and think of it kind of like the feature at the end of Scarlet and Violet where you take control of your Pokemon and travel the world. For the first time since Ruby and Sapphire's dive mechanic, underwater exploration is reportedly a core pillar of the Gen 10 experience. And this isn't just a restricted minigame, it's described as seamless 360-degree 3D movement between the ocean surface and the sea floor. Leaked screenshots show vibrant coral reefs, ancient sunken structures, and deep sea environments. You'll reportedly be able to spot rare water-type silhouettes beneath the waves and dive down to explore instantly. For anyone who loved Hoenn's dive routes, this is the concept taken to its absolute limit with modern hardware. The Switch 2's power is what makes this possible, and honestly, this might be the feature that sells the most consoles. Apparently, every Pokemon is getting new models. This is huge. According to the leaks, Game Freak is redesigning Pokemon models for Gen 10 to take advantage of the new engine. Not just a few, potentially all of them. Pikachu, Charizard, Machamp, and Lumineon are all explicitly called out as receiving brand new models. The leaked Pikachu redesign appeared briefly online before being taken down, and it was divisive. It looked sleeker, more urban, and fans weren't sure how to feel about it. But the bigger picture here is this represents this kind of visual overhaul the community has been begging for since the 3DS era. If every Pokemon gets updated models with higher fidelity, better animations, and more expressive detail, this could be the true next-gen leap. Now, every Pokemon game needs its evil team. Gen 10's villain is reportedly the chairman of a hotel chain who wants to bulldoze natural habitats across the archipelago to build more luxury resorts and boost tourism. The central theme is sustainability, living in harmony with Pokemon and the environments versus exploiting nature for profit. The leaked documents even mention that the game's challenge structure is inspired by real-world UN Sustainable Development Goals. There's also a reported Pokemon rescue mechanic where you use Rotom's drone to locate injured, sick, or lost Pokemon in the wild and help them, drawing direct parallels to real-world wildlife conservation. This is a genuinely mature theme for Pokemon, not edgy mature, like thoughtful mature. Climate, conservation, and the balance between development and nature. If executed well, this could be the most resonant Pokemon story since Black and White. Mega Evolution might just be coming back. Okay, this one's speculative, but very interesting. According to Central Leaks, the leaked Gen 10 build included a bag pocket specifically for Mega Stones, even though no Mega Stones were present in the build. This strongly suggests that Mega Evolution, which just returned in ZA, might carry forward into Generation 10. It wouldn't replace the Majin gimmick, it would exist alongside it, and it could be interesting in the way some games have included multiple battle mechanics. If Mega Evolution becomes a permanent fixture of the series going forward, rather than a one-game gimmick, that's a massive win for competitive players and fans who have been asking for this since Gen 7 dropped. I know I have. I love Mega Evolution. The Terra leak didn't just reveal Gen 10, it did reveal Game Freak's entire development roadmap for the next several years. Here's what's in the pipeline. 2026 has Pokemon Wind and Wave launch, the Gen 10 mainline games on Switch 2, probably coming fall or winter 2026. 2027 is gonna get us a Gen 10 DLC, plus a new Legends game codenamed Ringo, which is reportedly Pokemon Legends Galar, a Legends game set in historical Galar, like way back, before the Pokeball. This is the coolest thing ever. Beyond that, there's a project called Seed, which is a massive new Pokemon game spanning Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh together. This appears to be an MMO-style experience connecting multiple regions, and Gen 11 is reportedly targeting 2030. This roadmap means Pokemon content is going to be flowing for the next 5 years. We are in the golden age pipeline right now. Let me put this all together for you, because when you step back and look at the full picture of what Gen 10 is attempting, it's staggering. A massive Southeast Asian archipelago. True open world non-linear progression, underwater exploration, a modular transportation system, a weather-based battle gimmick that transforms the battlefield, 18 type-based challenges instead of 8, redesigned models for every Pokemon, a sustainability-driven story with real thematic weight, and all of it built from the ground up for Switch 2's hardware. The leaked engine footage shows wind and wave simulations that are leagues beyond anything we saw in Scarlet and Violet. The leaked screenshots show detailed tropical cities, lush jungles, and underwater environments with actual depth and polish. The budget is reportedly 1.5 times larger than Legends ZA. I'm not sure that means a ton. Now, I want to be really clear. These are leaks. Some details may have already been scaled back. Procedural generation was partially cut. The MMO features were moved to a separate project. Riding all Pokemon became the Rotom Scooter. Game development is messy and things do change, but even with cutbacks, this could be the most ambitious Pokemon game we've seen in the franchise's 30-year history. If Game Freak delivers on even half of this, Gen 10 could be the best game that finally answers the criticism fans have had since the series went to 3D. And the starters are gonna be revealed this week. And that is everything we know about Generation 10 heading into Pokemon Day. I cannot stress the importance of this Pokemon Presents and why you need to tune in with me right here on YouTube and Twitch at 8 a.m. Eastern Time on February 27th. Drop a comment right now. What are you most excited for in Gen 10? I want to see the starters. That's always the best part. This is going to be epic. Smash that like button, subscribe, and make sure you guys tune in on Pokemon Day.